from Ill Customz. Say hi, Cal.
What up, guys? That's all I got for
So,
now.
yep. So let's start off with what is your company and what do you do?
So I own Ill Customz along with my father, Mike Olson, and what we do is we offer car audio accessories, mostly for SPL-based builds. Um, uh, yeah. So we offer battery terminals, amplifier inputs, lithium busing, heat shrinks, ring terminals or lugs, distribution blocks, fuse blocks, and we're working on quite a few other things right now.
Awesome. Where are you guys located?
So we're located at in White Bear Lake, Minnesota. We have a 2,500 square foot shop that we lease out at the moment, and we might be needing a little bit bigger shop soon for some incoming equipment. So we're not sure yet, though.
Nice. What got you into car audio in the first place?
So
Like, where did you start?
actually, my father got me involved in car audio. He always thought it was pretty cool. He grew up tinkering around with home theater speakers, putting them in his vehicles, and I'm sure it just sounded like absolute crap, but he said it was awesome. I'll take his word for it. Anyways, when I was 16 years old, he helped me purchase an S10, and I didn't even have the faintest idea of what car audio was at the time. And he, I think one of my birthdays or some holiday or something, he got me a 10-inch Orion HCCA subwoofer for my first subwoofer. He got it at an auction, and he got what was it? Trying to think. It was a Pioneer, I believe it was a Pioneer PDX 1000.1. So those are those amps were 1,000 watts at 2 or 4 ohms. They're pretty sweet little amps, and yeah, that's all where it all started. I kind of caught the itch, and I remember throwing 5 different subwoofers, like different makes and different size subwoofers inside of the back of this S10, and just hooking all the wires up to the same amplifier, and just not even knowing what was going on really at the time. I was just a 16-year-old, and but that's really what started it. That got me into audio. I'll talk a little bit about how the company started, I guess, but I stayed in audio. I traded equipment, upgraded equipment with local shops and local people and whatnot. I ended up working for my dad at a CNC shop, and I remember I was 19 years old, and I was looking at Drop and Hertz Car Audio's website, and I was looking on there, and there was this machined products section. And that caught my eye because I was like, oh, we machine stuff here, and I thought that was cool, that this was stuff that we could potentially do. And I looked down there and I saw these Group 31 bus bars, and it just blew me away by how expensive they were. And they weren't badly priced or anything at the time, but I just thought they were just the most expensive thing in the world. It just was going through my head. I brought it up to my dad. I walked over to his office because he was the manager of the shop, and I was like, hey, can we make these? And he's like, I don't know, we could try. So he quoted them, and I started selling them, and it was terrible. It went really poorly. I thought all I had to do was advertise a couple times for these products, and that I could just come in to the game as a newcomer. And so I pretty much dropped the idea altogether. We started with the bus bars, which may not have been the best choice of a first product, but I remember me and my dad had a little bit of issues at work. We kind of went back and forth arguing about running the machines and whatnot. And one day I told my dad that I was gonna quit and start a company, a car audio company. And so if he's watching this, he's probably not gonna be super happy that I'm sharing this. But I remember he said, "Oh, you're gonna quit? You're quitting, huh? You're gonna quit?" He went out into the shop, grabbed my rolling toolbox and got a running start and fucking threw this thing out the back door, and tools just flew everywhere. I mean, everywhere. And he yells at me, "Pick up your fucking tools on the way out." And I responded with, "They're your tools." So I walked out and started Ill Customz. It started off really slow. I basically really got I started with the single inputs, single 0 to 0 inputs, and 6 input bolt down battery terminals. And it was really slow at first. People were pretty excited to see a little bit lower pricing, and the quality was pretty solid as well. Not what it is now, but people were pretty excited. But there just wasn't too much of a market that we could hit that wasn't already established. I was trying to compete with guys like Toolmaker and Project DB, and these guys had been established for years and literally owned the game, and they're basically the OGs of the entire community of what I do now.
Yep.
And I'm trying to jump into this hostile territory of people that I don't even really know. What I started doing was I just hit every single car audio page. I remember looking up like insert state here, car audio classifieds, insert big city here, car audio classifieds. And I mean, I spent days and days and days just looking for all these car audio pages. I still post on them. But I found, probably 200 different pages, and just started spamming them all. That's all I could really do. I wasn't established, and that was kind of the route I had to take. And I started getting sales little by little by little, and I racked up enough money to introduce another product. I ended up introducing the 0 to 4 reducers, which were just a hit. I think the only two companies selling them at the time were really Sky High. By this time, Sky High was pretty well established in this industry as well, and obviously they were already around. But in the machined parts industry, they were really starting to take off. And I remember they had their 0 to 4 reducers priced at $20, and I was able to sell them at $15 with I placed a large enough order from a local shop to where I could get them and sell them for a little bit of profit. So slowly we introduced more and more parts. For the first 3 years, I ran this company out of either my parents' basement or at first it started in a small room, probably a 10 by 10 room in my parents' house. I was sanding down every single terminal. What I would do is I would paint the logo red and black for positive and negative for the battery terminals, and then I would sand it down and then Scotch-Brite it, and it would leave a really cool bright red or bright black logo, and that was kind of what started setting this apart. But then I moved into my parents' basement, moved into my own apartment, and pretty much started filling up the entire apartment. Meanwhile, we just keep adding on more and more products, and I mean it's been a real slow pace, but we're starting to be more and more established in the industry. And then just I'd say a year and 2 or 3 months ago, I ended up moving into our first warehouse, and that it's a real great feeling. Not living out of my parents' house anymore, not running it out of my house anymore, and really felt like a real company finally. And so kept introducing more and more parts, and then I think it was 3 or 4 months ago now, my dad decided to join the company. And keep in mind that when I quit, he said that starting this company was the worst thing I'd ever do in my life. Worst choice I ever made. And now I get to work with him every day. We get along great. We're thinking about getting some machines. That's why I got this Haas hat. The guys over at Haas stopped by recently, and we're really looking forward to the future. We got a lot of pretty cool projects that we're working on right now. got a solar lithium project that we're working on for another client, another renewable energy contract, commercial kitchen appliances, and yeah, the sky's the limit at this point. We're trying to get more into manufacturing while staying true to our roots in car audio, and we're just gonna keep doing our best to really give you guys the customer service you deserve. Good product too. And that's all, Brad.
Oh, what happened there? I got like a high pitched ringing in my headphones now. I don't know if it's just me or what, but yeah. So you guys said you're looking at doing kitchen appliances. What
We
do you
won't be
mean?
offering kitchen appliances. We're doing a job involving commercial kitchen appliances at the moment for a client of ours. We're working on some parts for those. So
Oh, cool.
yeah, we're slowly starting to get more into manufacturing. Like I said, um, car audio is not a massive industry unless you're in the subwoofers or amplifiers or certain maybe the battery side of things. And we're already pretty deep involved with manufacturing, so we figured why limit ourselves to just car audio? We could keep evolving into other markets as well. We're working on some stuff for RC cars. We're working on just really trying to get out there. Hopefully, the next goal would be into the marine grade machined goods for batteries and whatnot.
Oh yeah. I wish I could figure out this ringing I got going on.
I don't hear it.
You can hear it too? Hmm. Um, I wonder if it's your microphone. Yep, I muted your mic and it went away.
My microphone, really.
Yeah. Try
I could turn my speaker down. It's probably from my speaker.
or try unplugging it and plugging it back in again.
How's that?
No, it's still doing it.
All right.
Whew. It's like 20,000 hertz.
Can you? Is it still there?
There we go.
It's better.
Yeah, whatever you did is much better.
All right.
I got a little bit of feedback now, but other than that, it's good.
I can turn my speaker down too. So that help?
Yep.
All right. So a lot of feedback or good?
It's good.
All right.
So, what are your plans for car audio for new products? Do you have anything special that you're working on?
I'll mention the things that we can talk about. So we are revamping our fuse blocks. We weren't super happy with that. We're going to go with a different material, different design, pretty much different everything. And we have some different ideas for how they will mount, how you can mount the plexiglass, how you can mount the actual fuse block. And we're just going to kind of try to rethink that altogether. We'll also be doing some new fuse blocks, or some distribution blocks. I just said fuse blocks, where they mount to actual acrylic. People have been asking about that every single time they buy a distribution block. Why isn't there acrylic with it? We would like that, so they don't have to make a little wooden plate or plastic plate for it. We'll be providing those sometime in the near future. Let's see, what else were we working on? We're basically switching over a lot of designs on all of our products, actually. So whether it's just minor tweaks or major changes, we are pretty much changing absolutely everything we offer at the moment. I've got a lot of things that I'm designing right now. I pretty much design products every single night after work. It's the luxury of being a business owner. I get to work at night too. Um,
Yep.
apparently on holidays as well, right, Brad? Um,
Yep. Every
um,
day.
yeah, every day. Um, and yeah, we're really just trying to approach the difference from the business from a different perspective. We've been selling things the same for quite a while, the same designs. You might have seen that Jim's Machine Works has changed his designs on his battery terminals and distribution blocks. Those look freaking awesome, you know. And
Yeah, I just seen those.
are changing some of our stuff as well. I don't know if you saw the new designs I posted for the Yinlong busing, but we're thinking about doing something similar for our battery terminals. The amplifier inputs will most likely stay pretty similar. Um, we might try to make them a little flashier or just polish them all. We're starting to do hand polished on all of our inputs, so we'll be doing that as well. Just to kind of set ourselves apart. You know, the name's Ill Customz. We need to be um, different, really.
Right.
Um,
And to stay relevant in car audio, you got to make changes. And, you know,
exactly.
it's good that you guys are following. And, like, I was super happy. Like, when I gave you guys feedback on the Yin Long bars, you guys actually
Mhm.
were like, yeah, we'll do that.
Yeah.
We'll do
Uh,
whatever we need to. And that's
I think you mentioned the
that's
spacing, right?
great. Yep.
Yeah. So we did change that. It Not a lot of people have received some of our out of our newer batch yet, but the quads and then the six banks, those all have much larger spacing. If you look at I don't want to butcher this last name, but Ricardo Ledesma, I'm not sure how to say it.
Mm-hmm.
He posted on the Do It Yourself page and then on the Yinlong only page too. You'll see that the spacing is quite a bit more between each cell, which we feel a lot safer with. You know, we don't want anyone's car burning down. We don't want anyone having issues with their gear and ruining their gear and it being our fault.
Right. And that was great that you guys jumped into the lithium market to offer DIY people, you know, an option rather than,
Yep.
like, I don't know if you've seen my video or not, but I primitive made some bars with a jigsaw and a, you know, a
Yeah.
regular
Yeah.
regular drill and a sander, you know, like
Yep.
primitive tools, but they look
Yep.
like crap compared to what you guys got.
Well, thanks, man. And yeah, that's fine for most people too, because still, I see most people going with that route. You know, I mean,
Yeah.
if you're doing it yourself, a lot of the time you do want to save money, and our bars are fairly expensive. Whereas you can get a quarter or 3/8 inch thick piece of aluminum and really just go to town, and it might take you a couple hours, but some people enjoy that too. However,
Yeah.
we are working on lowering our prices on those as well. Um, it might not be happening now, but we're working on it, and we're trying to see what we can do for those. Larger batches, obviously, pricing goes down, and if the market keeps going the way it is right now with Yinlong cells, then I think we'll be pretty set to do some larger production runs of the Yinlong busing.
Have you guys looked into doing any headway busing?
No, we
Because
have. I've been seeing that pop up more and more, though.
yeah, they're not as popular now as they used to be. Like when I first started doing the DIY thing, like headways were what we started with pretty much. Uh,
Hmm.
like
Yep.
in the DIY
Mhm.
community, we kind of started using the headways. I mean, we were using other cells prior to that, but they were something that, you know, the everyday person could take the bars and just assemble them and have a
Yep.
battery.
Yep. I don't
So
be looking into those just because Jeff Kainberg already offers a pretty good product for those over at Project DB. That's who I've been referring people to when they ask. Um, might have, I'm
doesn't he just have the single links though?
I haven't seen too much from him, but I know he does have the single links. Yeah, I've seen Cody Melkert's bank, and I've seen a couple other banks with his links as well. Like I said, I haven't really looked too much into that market, and if it does grow, it's something that we consider. But like I was talking about before, we're working pretty hard at coming out with other products that we think might be more of a priority at the moment.
Okay. Yeah, I personally think the headway banks wouldn't be a bad idea.
Yeah.
Um, cut out.
I cut out.
Yeah, sorry about that.
Yes, we can talk about that again too. I haven't seen a whole lot of people doing it. What? Who is the guy that everyone was getting those from again? I believe he's an eBay seller, and then he also has the same name on his Facebook profile, doesn't he?
Battery hookup. Are you talking about? He sells the used headway cells.
I think I was thinking of someone else that posts on the DIY page a lot.
And then there's Adam D Batteries,
That's who I was thinking of. Yeah.
18650.com. Yeah,
Mm,
and he sells links, but they're like super, super thin links, and
okay.
like they're only
Okay.
single links.
Gotcha.
Yeah, and
So I'll
like
be honest, I don't know a whole lot about those cells. Dollar for dollar, how do they compare really to the Yinlongs and I guess C-Max as well? That's those are fine at regular voltage, right?
yeah, so like the Yinlong and C-Max, you want to run higher voltage.
Yeah.
Now, like the headways work great with a stock voltage system.
Mm,
So like if you only charge 14 or 14.2, like
mm,
my RAM only charges 13.8 in the summertime when it's warm out, so I can't run a Yinlong or a C-Max in there. So I
right,
run
right, right,
headways, and
right.
they
What
work
kind
fantastic.
what kind of bank you got in there? Like what kind of size?
40 amp, 8 amp hour bank, and then I'm clamping 4400 RMS on
Okay,
stock alternator, and I'm able to hold 12s.
sweet. All right, man. Yeah, definitely
Back
something
when
to look
I,
into.
yeah, back when I had AGM, I'd drop into high 10s, 11s.
Ouch. Yeah.
So
Oh,
the headways definitely are way better for the dollar.
I get scared as soon as I drop into the 12s. I know I shouldn't. Like, I know that's okay, but I get scared as soon as I'm dropping 12s. Yeah.
Yeah, I seen a post the other day, and people are like, "Don't you remember the days of 11 volts?" I'm like, "Geez, I remember the days of 10 and 9 volts and cutting out."
I had uh when I first really started getting into car audio, I had my build done at a shop. Oh, someone's cutting their lawn right outside. Sweet. I had I had a build done at a shop, and I had three Group 31s in there on 7K. And let me close this window. Holy crap!
Okay, no problem. I'm gonna check YouTube comments quick.
Super good time on your lawn for me.
Yep.
But yeah, I had 7,000 watts, and I had these three Group 31s in my vehicle. They were the juice box black cherries, and I remember I was driving it, and I was playing it, and I didn't notice anything wrong, and I didn't have a voltmeter or anything, you know. I was like 19 years old. I don't know. I don't need the voltmeter. So I'm driving, and I checked my voltage still, and I is reading what 13.8. This is in my Audi, and so thought there was nothing wrong. Car's driving fine. Um, no issues, right? It's reading off my front battery as it should. And one day the system just turns off. I had probably been playing for around 3 days straight, and it just turned off. And it turns out the shop forgot to put the fuse in, the front fuse in.
Oh no.
So I played for 3 days on very very low voltage and just continuous and kept playing. And I don't know how it didn't cut out sooner. I guess I must not have been wailing on it as hard as I thought I was, but maybe it wasn't 7K. That was before the 7K. That was just the 3500. But that's probably why it lasted longer. But still, I mean, yeah, sold the amp. Amp's still playing. Someone's still using it. So was it the Twisted 3.5K? I think. Yeah, I think it was a tank.
So what do you have for a system now?
I got a VFL 22K on two Sundown Team Neo 18s.
Oh,
And
nice.
it's pretty nasty.
Yeah, so it's not a little system at all.
No, no. I'd like to go bigger at some point, but for now, this is what I can do. Um, I got it all on trade. You know, I trade product for product. There's always dealers of ours that are looking to get rid of gear that want our product, more of it or whatnot. Um, and I got the subs from Directronics. Traded a bunch of product to them, and that's a pretty good guy down there. He's local to us. You already know him, Horner.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yep.
yeah, and right now I'm running C-Max just because it was just what was available at the time and easily attainable. Obviously, we'll be switching over to Yinlong to showcase our product once the time comes. It's not. I don't really play the system for anyone. I don't go to shows too often lately. So not a super big need to showcase the product just because I don't have everything set up the way I want it right now. Anyways, I don't think I'll do that until we wall it off next year.
Right. Like, which shows do you go to typically, like every year?
Oh, I used to. I went to shows in quite a while. Um, had Yeah, I just haven't went to shows in quite a while.
I know I've
I
seen you at Slamology.
Oh yeah, I go to some of the bigger shows, but locally I haven't been going to too much lately. Um,
Yeah, which bigger shows do you hit it? Like,
I pretty
try to
much
hit
hit
every year.
Slamology and then occasionally a show over at a shop here in Minnesota. There's some shows at A&I Tintin Car Audio, and then I'm looking to go to some. Probably go to more next year. Been trying to focus more on the company. Haven't had a whole lot of time to do fun things, so it's kind of
Right.
honestly.
Yep. And then it's when you start small, you gotta work with what you got, right?
Yeah, I mean, I was 19. I didn't have a whole lot of money,
Yep.
but it's grown quite a bit. It's pretty cool to see where things are going. You know, especially now that Pops is on board. He's been an engineer for I think 30 plus years. Managed a bunch of large shops and um, he's done some pretty cool stuff.
Yeah, I've seen his comments lately on Facebook, and it's great to have him in there and
Mm.
helping out.
Yeah, definitely. He's a huge help. Um, I'm young. I'm what they would call I'm green into machining and engineering type stuff, and he's definitely the voice of reason that I've needed with this company. There have been some mistakes that could have been avoided that he would instantly pointed out. You know, there's a big learning curve for this type of stuff. At least what I've been doing. Um, I'm sure he could have saved me plenty of money, but things worked out the way they did for a reason, I'm sure, and it's looking pretty promising now. And he's working very closely with me on all of our projects, like alongside me. So
Um, what's the biggest system you've had? Is it what you have now?
yeah. I think I haven't gotten a meter yet, but I'm pretty sure it's mid 50s. It's in a suburban. So I ended up doing all the deadener and that, and doing the whole thing on my own, and that was a pretty big task and good time, and broke a lot of panels and clips and whatnot, and get to learn on that too.
Yeah, who are your big influences? Like, who do you watch on YouTube? Or
I don't watch a whole lot of people on YouTube, but I watch a lot of people pretty closely on Facebook. Some people might be bothered by this, but I watch Jonathan Price a lot. I
yep.
see him making moves all the time, going to business conventions, constantly evolving, and his biggest thing that it seems he prides himself in is his customer service. And if anyone mentions him, it's instantly customer service, and that's what we strive to do as well, is really focus on the customer experience.
Yeah, I also follow him around and
Yeah,
follow what he does because no matter what
it's really
anybody says,
interesting.
he's a good businessman.
Yep. And regardless of what people say about him, he does very well, and he does his customers right, and
Yep.
that's really what matters.
The number one thing is the customer, and
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah.
and who else do you
I
follow
decided
around
that
on
from
Facebook?
I decided that from pretty early on that we were going to focus mainly on our customers, and that was all that matters. I anytime a customer has an issue, I resolve it. I probably get 2 or 3 posts a year of someone complaining about something, and none of them go unresolved. The
Yep.
posts and the big pages like, "Oh, this broke," or "Oh, this amp fried." And those companies take care of it too. But we make sure to stay right there with our customers in case they need us.
I remember I was missing a couple set screws, and you sent me a whole bag of set screws.
That's usually
That
what I
was great.
do. Yeah,
That
a lot
was
of times we
awesome.
actually
I
send
loved
extra
it.
set screws. Yeah, yeah. A lot of time we send extra set screws. We send extra heat shrinks. If you're a regular with us, it's pretty common to just receive extra product. If you ordered some inputs, we might throw in some lugs or some extra heat shrinks. Or there's been people I've sent free circle jigs to. I don't know if you saw the new Ill Customz circle jigs. I've sent those out. I've
Yeah,
sent.
those look awesome, by the way.
What do you say?
I said those look awesome, by the way.
Thanks, man. Yeah, we're pretty excited about them too. They're doing pretty well so far. So gotta
Yeah,
win.
it's nice to have an actual solid circle jig.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. We kept getting asked to make them, and obviously there was patent issues before then or before now, and so we didn't really pursue it. But we finally took the initiative and redesigned them and made some changes. If anyone's bought them, I'm sure they've noticed some of the changes we made.
Oh yeah, getting back to who do you look up to or
Oh,
follow around on Facebook? Who else you got?
okay. So this one I really like. If you see John Ray, um,
Yep.
I know I'm just choosing the big companies, but that's what I aspire to be someday. So those are my idols in the industry. So if you see John Ray, I have never seen him say something negative, even when someone is bad. I've never seen anything negative. That may have happened at some point, but I haven't seen it. I constantly see him just grinding it out for his customers, commenting on his personal page on customer issues, even for the smallest things. This guy's making a lot of money, and in most people's opinions, would have bigger fish to fry, than responding to a simple customer's issue. You could hire people for that, but I still see him doing that regularly. I see him commenting on customers' pictures of their bills using his products. I just see him really involved in the scene, and I see him sponsoring shows and stuff. I just that's another thing that we really look up to, is just being a very positive person in the scene. I was just talking with you before this. I was saying we want to start offering some lighthearted videos and whatnot, to just bring positivity. Unfortunately, there's going to be a lot of negativity in any scene you're in, but the best thing we can do is to just try to lead by example, and hopefully some people follow, and we just all start getting along better. Something.
Yep. We all have haters.
Yeah, yeah, and I usually try to nice those people to death. Sometimes I unfortunately flew off the handle or made a smart ass remark, but I'm trying my hardest to just really be positive in any situation, because not everyone's going to like our company. Some people might support another company, and that's just fine. And we were talking about that too. That there's room in this industry for all of us. There's a lot of great companies out there, and just because you run one company doesn't mean the other company is terrible, or just because it's not so black and white. Nothing's always just better than the next brand. I mean, you run it.
Right.
There's been people that have said negative things, and that is the NVX is perfect for you. It works good for you.
Yep.
If it works, why is it a bad brand? Because I've heard people say that about other brands too. If it works perfect for someone, then why is it a bad brand?
Yep.
You know?
And I don't know, sometimes even like I'll run something just because everyone hates it so much.
I remember you saying that. Yeah, that's funny. You
It's
know,
like
yeah, there's
everything has a purpose and, a place in the market.
yeah, exactly.
I know. I
And
know like a lot of people look down on like Boss Audio and Rockville, but like when it comes down to it at the end of the day, them companies pull in big money.
yeah,
They're not
absolutely,
small companies.
absolutely.
And they make a good living doing what they do.
Yeah, yeah, and I'm sure plenty of people are happy with the product they offer. So there's nothing wrong with it. And
Yep.
just because it's not right for you doesn't mean it's not right for someone else. You know?
Like was it the Boss 4000? I know like so many people are like, well, it's $120 4,000 watt amp that doesn't do anywhere close to 4,000 watts, but at the end of the day, like what it actually does for what you pay for it, that's a pretty good deal.
Mhm. And it's probably pretty freaking badass for your local 16-year-old to have that amp.
Right. Everyone's
Or
got to
anyone
start
to have that
somewhere.
amp if that's what they're starting at.
Yep.
You know?
And it's, great for entry level people.
Yeah,
And it's a good
absolutely.
learning experience for them.
Unfortunately, as soon as someone posts out a small system on one of the pages, people are like, "Oh, that's terrible." They'll be all proud and they built it themselves, and someone just has to come in and tear them down. And I remember I saw a post recently that was really cool. There was some beginner to car audio, and he posted up a system, and he's really proud of it. And it wasn't anything special, it was all beginner gear, and it wasn't like built fantastic either. But everyone came in and chimed in and was like, "That's awesome, congratulations!" And I can't remember who it was, but there was like a large company owner that chimed in too and was like, "Hey, good job, that's awesome." And I don't know, I just want to see more of that. That stuff's pretty cool. So I've been trying to commenting on more posts and stuff too. I'm on Facebook all day long. I can say some positive things, and I don't have to just post memes and whatnot.
Right. Yeah, and like EXO, he's always great at like leaving positive comments or
Yeah,
responding back to everybody. Well, he doesn't quite so much anymore because he has just way too much, but he used to
yeah.
respond to like every comment. That's crazy. I don't get nowhere near the comments he does, and I don't
Yeah.
respond back to all of them.
Right. That guy is the nicest person ever. It is insane. It's insane how happy and positive he is. I actually just sold him one of the circle jigs that we were just talking about and some yin long busing. Um,
Nice.
So hopefully you'll be posting that up at some point soon too. I shipped that out. Was it I believe on Tuesday, um, and yeah. So and he was just super nice. He sent me like a voice message about it. He's like on the voice message he was asking like about shipping addresses or something. And the dude's just too nice.
Yeah, he is. Great
Yeah.
guy. I think that's part of why he has such a large following, though, too.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. No.
Because he'll sit in somebody's car with two 12s and, 1,000 watt amp, and he's happy with that, too. Like, he's
Yeah.
excited about it as the guy who owns it.
Mhm.
And I
Yeah.
think, like, a lot of people, they rip on the smaller systems, but when it comes down to it, like, at the end of the day, like, the average everyday bass head has 500 to 2,000, maybe
Yeah.
3,000 watts and a pair of 12s.
If 3,000,
Right.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely didn't start at 22,000 watts. You know,
Right.
like I was saying, I had a mixed matched system from hell. I think I had what was it? I had a prefab box with two Kenwood 12 tornadoes. Um, what was the other one? And then I had two Pioneers, two Pioneers 12 inches, and another Kenwood box top or stacked on top of that. And then I had my Orion 10 stacked on top of that, and they were all just hooked up to the same freaking amp. You know, I had to learn, and I think that's the most fun of this whole community is learning this stuff. Passing that knowledge down to other people and getting to learn it yourself, and it's just a give and take.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, speaking of that, I I'm in Alcoholics Anonymous, so I know about people from a bunch of different age groups and whatnot, and there were some like 16-year-old kids that like contacted me, and they're like, um, "Hey man, we heard you do car audio and stuff. Can you help us out?" So I was like, "Yeah, sure." So they bring their car down, and they got their what was it, their Boss amp, and it's just maxed out, bass boost up, gain all the way up, just all knobs to the right, like it should be. No,
Yep.
uh, um, and I tuned it for them. I hooked it up properly. There's wires hanging out everywhere to the point where it's gonna arc out on something. And I've had a couple people that are new in the car audio just stop by and really looking for answers and looking for help. And I'm not charging them anything. If they're new to this thing and never gonna buy anything, and I got some free time, that's okay. I can pass on what knowledge I have. Help them out. I had a DD1 at the shop, so it took me a couple minutes.
Yep.
You were just saying that you were doing that with your buddy Nathan, so you were helping him out, getting him started and whatnot. So, what
Yeah,
is
that actually runs along with the question I was going to ask you. What do you think? Is car audio thriving or dying?
um say the industry itself is thriving. Um, uh, I'd say the community is kind of falling apart a little bit. At least online, social media is kind of toxic in general. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but then again, the loudest ones are generally the most negative too. Um, so I may be seeing or remembering only the negative, but I've also seen quite a bit of positive uh, in the community. Uh, Sometimes it does need to be dialed back. There's the nonstop trolling, uh, and that's okay with your friends and stuff. But if it's a newbie in the scene, he might just think we're all fucking assholes, and not want
Right.
it at all.
Yeah, I've actually seen posts like that where a newbie asks questions and everybody gives them hell, and I'll take the
No.
time and send the guy a message
Yeah.
personally, off
Yeah.
the post because it doesn't pay, but and
Mhm.
explain it to him the right way, and hopefully you listen to me and not all the trolls.
Yeah. 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 And whenever there's a question about subwoofers, you can guarantee Funky Pup's going to be mentioned.
Mm-hmm.
And
What's a
I've
funky
seen
pup?
plenty. What do you say?
And then they'll be like, "What's a funky pup?"
Like, oh, that sounds like an awesome subwoofer. What's that? And then someone's got to be the one to tell them, hey, everyone here is messing with you. And that just doesn't look good, you know?
Or Omega 40K.
Yeah, yeah, yep. Of course, the iconic Omega 40K and the Funky Pup. Yeah,
Yeah.
but
So,
I think if enough of the more influential, and I'm not saying I'm super influential, but I think if enough of the more influential people in the community kind of band together and start spreading the positivity with the new age of bass heads, that's when things are really going to take a nice turn. And I think we'll see a lot more cool things happening in general. Um,
mm-hmm.
we all if we all seem like people that are blasting 100 or 160 dBs around the neighborhood, no one wants to be a part of that. You know, but if we,
Yep.
like people that are contributing to our community, like there was a local show that was just had. You know what it was? I think it was for what was it for local fire department? Was that was Cody Melkert? I believe that was for a local fire department. They held a show.
Oh, the DBs for diabetes.
No, sorry, I'm thinking of a different show. But yes, yeah, I donated that one. I couldn't remember which one.
Oh,
Um,
you're talking about the one in Green Bay
yeah,
or
yeah,
like Green Bay area. Yeah, they
yep,
had a. I think that one was for a fire department. Yeah.
yeah. Okay, I was like, wow, how did I forget that? But
Yeah.
yeah,
It's.
that's the stuff that we need in this community to really give ourselves a better name. That's attractive. That's good promotion for us. Um,
Mm,
you know, we half the people in SPL have 20,000 dumped into their vehicle. That's exaggeration, but the point is, we can put a little bit towards the community as well. And I think that's pretty cool. So we try to donate to a lot of shows. I can't think of many shows that where people have asked me to donate to where I haven't. Just because we have this product in stock, it's okay if we can write it off anyways, and it's usually going to a pretty good cause. Sorry, I got a little off track. I I
no,
feel
that's fine.
strongly about the positivity in the community.
Yeah, I do too. That was one of my big things for like doing the DIY batteries for lithium, and like I really pushed that hard
Uh,
at first, and uh, it actually took off way bigger than I ever thought it was going to be.
I know it did. Yeah, it's huge.
And like there was a couple of guys doing it, but they're all like, well, "I'm gonna keep this to myself," you know.
Yeah, yeah.
And
And
I was like,
meanwhile, you're just spreading the information.
yeah, I just started spreading it like wildfire.
Yeah, yeah, pretty cool. It's fun to see these guys testing on those pages too, coming out. You testing new cells and other people testing new cells and whatnot. And I mean, you never know what's gonna come out tomorrow. I mean,
Right,
with those 9 amp hour Yinlongs we were just talking about, it sounds like those might just be insane. We're waiting for testing and stuff, and what's next, and what's it gonna cost, and how can I get it, and it's kind of fun to see this thing evolving. I do see one thing about the industry I do see is that it's evolving extremely fast.
right.
A lot of new companies coming out.
Yeah, it's actually surprising to see some of the new companies doing so well. Like Wolfram.
Mm-hmm.
Like they started out, you know, pretty much, nothing.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And
Now it's massive. It's
it's massive. I seen you guys were even building dual inputs for them with the logo on
yeah,
them.
yeah. That was showcasing the new finish that I was talking about on the inputs, the polished finish. But yeah, those seem to be selling pretty well for him too, and I'm sure he's going to keep getting into other markets. That's just you saw him post that the lithium up, you know.
Yep.
So
Yeah, I was actually kind of surprised it took him this long to get the lithium thing going because he was the guy who helped me with the very first group buy for the DIY community.
yeah, it's
So
funny.
like he was into it way back in the beginning.
Mm.
I
And
know you've been following along since the beginning too.
oh yeah, definitely, definitely. Yeah. It took us a little while to get the busing out, but it's going well now. So
Yeah,
second.
and it takes a while to, especially with something like that. We didn't all know how big it was going to be.
Well, imagine the people that found C-Max too,
Right.
and all the cells that have been popular. Like, I mean, I'm guessing when you discovered it, you were just blown away. Like, wow, this is this. How could this even be a thing? Because you look at it compared to our AGM batteries, what, like 3 years ago now, or
Yep.
maybe, yeah, it was about 3 years ago. that was massive. Like how how is it such a drastic change? How is
Right.
it this much better?
Yeah, and like when I first started testing lithium, I was like, wow, this is insane. And then like it's like, how is this even possible? Like I
How
just
is it
couldn't even wrap
holding?
my yeah, I couldn't wrap my head around it. I was like, man. And then like I just started, okay, well I gotta test some more cells. I gotta test this, I gotta test that, and
Mm,
just evolving packs. And I think the big push for me testing lithium in the first place was seeing Extreme Lithium's battery.
mm.
How crappy it was built, I was like, man, I could build something better than that myself. And I did.
And I did.
That's what I did. So I was like,
So
okay, well,
who was the first one that found the Yinlongs in the States? I know it was over. It was I think it was over in Russia first, right?
yeah, it was definitely over in Russia first. I think Bryce Sampson was one of the first people that I know of in the United States with themselves. And
Really?
then not long after, probably would have been me.
Gotcha. For sure. Yeah, I was just curious because yeah, I mean now everyone's running them, and I mean you look at excess power, they're selling just stupid amounts of them, and I mean it's opened up a whole new industry for companies like me. You know,
Mm-hmm.
you know, crazy. And now you got the skibs too, and I mean those just seem to be blowing people away as well. Um, but
Yeah, it'd be nice to get some threaded terminals on the skibs because
yeah, 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 I
then
agree.
it gives you guys options to do busing, and then people can build
Mm.
banks however they want. That's one of
Mm.
the problems with the new uh, 9 amp hour Yinlongs is
Yeah.
they need to
Yeah.
be welded, and
So
we
the
don't have.
issue. So I don't know if we would ever, if those came to market, the welds would have to be extremely precise, because to make, I mean, you think about it, to make the busing, first of all, you don't want them smashing against each other. So if one thread is just a little bit off, it messes up the whole line, and then maybe they're knocking into each other, or they just interfere entirely. That'd be some really precise welding there. And I mean,
Yeah,
especially since you consider how small they are, there's not going to be much of a space for a terminal to sit on top of.
right.
I make that mounting hole very small and very accurate on top of it, so there's no real room for air. Guess you could space them out really far, but that might be kind of counterproductive.
Right. And like that was a big thing with like starting DIY. There's a lot of guys that were using like 26 650s or the pouch cells, and cells that were very hard to assemble for like the
Mm,
average person. So it was like my big push to do headways and Yinlongs was because of their ability that anybody could use them.
right, right, right. Yeah.
And then there's C-Max, they have the studs, but those are a little more finicky also too. Like the factory casing was, intentional for those.
Mm,
And you see a lot of these guys doing the wood boxes or whatever, and they don't hold.
yeah.
But
Yeah, seems a little sketchy for sure.
there's always dangers with high powered batteries like that, no matter what you're
Yeah.
doing.
Mm. Well,
Even
there were
like with
dangers
our
with the
big banks,
AGM too. It's just magnified now.
yep, it's just 10 times what an AGM would have been.
Right. Right. Yeah. I was
And
driving.
it's
I was driving around with my box not mounted. So I'm for a couple days, and I'm just terrified that I'm gonna slide forward and these wires are going to rip out of this C-Max and arc on something and just have a real fun time, get stuck in the middle of the road or something sketchier, or the battery flies or something, you know. So that was real fun, and I felt like I was driving around with a bomb in my truck.
Yep. And like that's how I felt at first too, using cells. But then I, got into like the safety testing and
Mm,
you know learning learning about all the different safety features of different batteries, and
mm.
like it's
Well, it seems
surprising
like
now. Like cut out.
the yin lungs are extremely, extremely safe.
Yeah, I would argue that they're safer than an AGM battery.
That's crazy.
Yeah, and I mean years ago we couldn't have dreamed of that kind of safety with that high power of a battery.
Right.
One of the early people I started following doing it was T-Fade with the Nimrods.
Mm, yep.
Like right away when I seen him doing that, I was like, hmm,
That's
I'm gonna go
interesting, and it
check
was
that out.
interesting. You know, I mean,
Yep,
I don't. If I remember correctly, it didn't go super well, but it was still very interesting.
yep. I
Didn't quite a
so
few people have issues with those?
I'm not really sure if a lot of people had issues with him or not. I followed what he was doing, and then I didn't even bother with the Nimrods. I started messing with Lifey Pole 4 back then.
I was my first year at Slam. I can't remember who the hell it was, but it was someone else with Nimrods. They parked up next to my booth, and the Nimrods set on fire.
Oh no.
Yeah, at Slam, and I can't freaking remember who it was. I wish I could. Dang, but everyone was freaking out. It was hilarious in a bad in a terrible way. But seems like that's not going to. Hopefully, that won't be a problem for too much longer. It seems like we're starting to get towards the ceiling with this technology, like at least for car audio applications. Um,
Yeah, I
so
feel we
the
are
next move
also.
would just be more safe.
Yep, I think that's about where we're at.
Yeah.
And once it gets to a certain point with the discharge rates and everything too, like we're just burning terminals off or whatever. So
Oh.
you get to the point where you can only put so much through so big a stud.
Mm.
And like we'd need a drastic change in the cells,
Right. Right. Right.
and that'll be a little bit. Lithium capacitors is another thing that's going to be up in the market here pretty quick.
Really.
Yeah, you're starting to see some companies trickle it in,
Hmm.
and I think
Interested
over
to
the
see
next
that for sure.
over this next 6 months or next year, we'll see more about lithium capacitors. They're like kind of in between a ultra capacitor and a lithium cell.
Huh. Sounds interesting. We'll see what that entails.
Yep. But I mean, like right now, with what we got with lithium cells and supercapacitors or ultra capacitors, I mean, it's more than enough. And like years ago, we didn't have that kind of power, and it was super expensive to get the power. And now you can build a bigger system for cheaper because of the price of batteries coming down.
Oh, batteries, amps, subwoofers, machined products. Everything's going down right now. It seems like. So it seems like that's what I meant by really the industry is growing, at least the SPL industry, because since the prices are going down more and more, it's more feasible for 18-year-olds fresh out of high school to snag a 10,000 watt system. You know,
Yep.
the only thing that isn't going down is the shop rates. But
Yeah, and I think shops are kind of dwindling down too. Like I don't even have any shops local to me anymore. There's
it's a hard
I
industry for sure. It seems like.
I have to drive 45 minutes to even go to a car audio shop, and when I get there, they don't even sell much car audio. And they sell remote starters and other electronics or cell services or whatever. And that
Mm-hmm.
seems to be their primary focus, not car
Yeah.
audio.
Well, everyone also might also be because everyone wants a deal. I'm sure you ran into customers or lots of customers that just are window shoppers or want the best deal and then aren't willing to buy because it wasn't $5 cheaper.
Yep. And that's, like I ran a store before and I got out of it because that's the way a lot of it was. Well,
Yeah.
they don't want to buy from your store because you're not going to cut them a deal.
Yeah.
And if you cut them a deal, you're really not making any money. And
Yeah.
the amount of time I stuck into it back then, it wasn't worth the hassle. I was like, I'm just
Yeah.
going to get out of this. And
Yeah. Understand that. Yeah. I've seen both sides of it. There's some shops around here that are charging a lot, but they're putting out the quality work, and they seem to be getting a lot of business. And I've also seen shops that are putting out quality work that aren't getting the business, and then shops that are charging less than everyone that are getting a lot and charging less or more than everyone. It's all over the place. It's kind of seems to be all across the board, really, and it's hard for me to read whether a shop is going to succeed. And I think it's the same for the business owners, just because this industry is extremely competitive and very volatile. It's constantly changing.
yeah, yeah, if you don't follow the rest of the industry and what's going on, you're going to get lost in the mix. I've seen
Exactly.
actually a lot of companies that, they were big 3, 4 years ago, and now you don't hear anything about them at all.
Yeah. Yeah. I can name a couple.
Yeah, I could too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure everybody knows some companies like that. Well, and even the big companies have done a lot of changing. Pioneer, Kenwood, you know,
Mhm.
the big brands.
Yeah. Yeah. And some people think that those brands are small brands and or not as big of a deal, but really they make up 99% of the market. So.
Yeah, a lot of the brands that people swear by are just they're such a small percentage of the market. It's
Yeah.
not even funny, but
The SPL world is pretty small. You know, Not everyone wants to float a baby, but I mean, there
yeah,
is that 1% that does.
yep. Not all of us want to float babies and bricks.
Yeah. God, I love that joke just keeps on going around. And you see Mike Malizio just floating all kinds of random stuff, right? That's fantastic.
Yeah, I liked Brent's video of the floating a concrete brick in his window. He did a piece of foam painted to look like a brick. It looked great, but the brick is just smashing around. I'm like, what? And then I realized I'm like, that ain't a real brick.
That's great.
Like as soon as it started moving, I'm like, that ain't a real brick. But it's great. It's just hilarious.
Oh, oh.
And an average person sees that and they're like, what?
What's happening? Yeah.
Yeah.
No, my favorite thing about the system isn't even listening to myself. It's just the reaction on people's faces when they sit in it and hear it. And I'm not even loud. Like I said, like mid 50s. But I mean, your average Joe that's never heard anything more than a kicker 10 on a 500 watt amp, that's pretty insane. And most people are just actually angry at me for playing it. You know,
Yeah.
they're like, turn it off, and I'm just laughing.
I love the reactions when you get, like
Yeah, yeah,
locally, if I find somebody that, like you said, pair tens or whatever, I'm like, hey, have you ever heard a loud system? Come get a demo. I mean, my system isn't nothing crazy. It does, like you said, mid 50s, but
yeah,
the reactions are just amazing. Or,
yeah,
my favorite is when you get the guy, oh, I shattered my window with
yeah, yeah,
two JL10s back in the 90s, and them are my favorite people to give a demo to,
yeah.
because it's just hilarious when you see them going, uh, and grabbing the door handle and bailing. Like,
Yeah,
you shattered your windshield, bro, or your back
yeah,
window.
yeah. I told a guy that I met that I was hitting mid 50s, and he was telling me about how his boss, because he worked at a car audio shop, apparently a local one. He's telling me how his boss hit a 65 in his S10 with three kicker L5s. And I was just like, sweet,
Sweet, dude. That's
sick,
great. Come hear my 145 dB setup, and then you give
right?
them the demo, and they're like, man, I guess I wasn't doing 60s.
Yeah, yeah,
And,
yeah,
and you're like, yeah, and I ain't doing 45s either.
yeah. Pretty much, pretty much. Yeah, I didn't give him a demo. He seemed like he was in a hurry, so I just kind of took it for what it was, as a bunch of bullshit.
Right.
But I don't know. Then you're gonna run into that guy like Ronnie Smith that actually is actually doing it.
Yep.
You tell someone who doesn't know about him that an eight's hitting 155, and they're gonna be like, nah,
Nah, that ain't happening.
that's not
Maybe in the
possible.
port.
Right,
Maybe in the
right,
port.
right. I love how this conversation just went all over the place.
Yeah. Well, that's kind of how I wanted to do my show too. Like, just us bullshitting,
It's kind of open format. Fair enough. Fair enough.
Like, I had some questions lined up that I wanted to ask, but not. I kind of just wanted it to be go with the flow.
Right. Is anyone watching? I can't see.
I don't know. The comments haven't been coming up on my stream for some reason. I don't know if I just don't have the bandwidth for it, or I'll go check the comments. Says
No
we have
comment.
eight watching,
Oh,
and there's a whole bunch of comments.
really? I can't even view it.
A bunch of people complaining about CCA wire. I don't even remember if we touched on CCA wire, but man, did that get big in the comments.
It got big in the comments.
Yeah.
Oh, they were probably talking. That's probably when I was talking about Sky High. You should have had
Yeah.
that up.
Yeah, I wish it was popping the comments up, but
Right, right. Apparently, Pops is watching. He said 9 people are watching, so he's one of them.
oh, cool. Yeah, we've been going over an hour, so
Pretty much.
someone says, yeah, go with the flow. Matthew Massey.
Just tell my dad to hop on there. He'd be like, "F no." He
Yeah,
doesn't
and
like public stuff.
like I said, I kind of want to. I'm gonna do the show probably from a friend's house next time, so the bandwidth will be better. I don't know how it actually turns out on the other end.
Hmm. Gotcha. I'm probably gonna dip out here. I got to get back to work.
Yeah, thanks for taking some time to come on and you know, give the fans a little bit of an inside look at Ill Customs and
Yeah. Well, I appreciate you having me, man. It was good talking to you. Good doing this for everyone, and hope you have me on again sometime.
yeah, let everybody know where they can find you and find your products. I'll throw
All
a
right.
link up on this video.
Put a link on the video. All right.
Yeah, I'll put a link on. And where can people find you on like Facebook and YouTube?
All right. Sounds good, man. Appreciate it.
All right, thanks for coming on again.
Have a good one. See you later, guys.
Later.